Hey guys, it's Bruce, and how am I sounding right now? Hey, I got KP55, I got Mr. Worldwide, Tony Manning, Way Gook and Way, and a lot of other people watching. Thanks guys for watching. Appreciate you. This is gonna be a crazy one right here. Bear with me. I got some stuff to talk about for sure on this one. Am I sounding good? You guys hear me? Am I freezing before I start? Everything good? Everything good? Everything okay? I'm assuming you guys can hear me. Okay. There's a couple things that I want to talk about. Loud and clear. Okay, great. Awesome. Awesome. A few things I want to talk about and save the chat for later. It's going to be open topics at the end, but three things we're going to talk about mainly, and then it's going to be open topics. Tell you guys about this picture right here, the story behind this picture in 2020. We're going to talk about a very. I'm going to give some warnings for foreigners dating American guys. And that's going to be some really good advice. And lastly, I want to talk about UAPs. Um, that is the new word acronym for UFOs, because it's something that I know is crazy, and but I want to talk about it. I want to know you guys' opinion about it. I'm really excited to talk about that one. But let's start off with this picture right here. I want to show you guys this picture right here. If you can see that, that picture, that picture right there is what has happened to my house. 2020, man, 2020. This is a crazy year. So we got some flooding in the house. So now we're having to clean up the carpets and stuff. So that's the walls. It's my basement wall and part of the carpet. And that same thing happened in a few rooms and the bathrooms, all kinds of stuff. And it got me thinking. Then this year has been very challenging on multiple levels for everyone. And it got me thinking though. This little crazy thing that's happening in our house right now, it looks bad, but I think that this, just like 2020, is like a reset. I think that the reset button is getting hit. And here's what I'm trying to say here is that obviously what has happened in my house sucks, but the positive thing is that it's a reset button, just like 2020. And this right here, I've got insurance, so all of this is going to be recovered. It's going to be a pain to move this furniture all over and clean up everything, but the insurance has covered us, and we were actually just talking about refurbishing the bathrooms anyway. So, and I was thinking, man, maybe it's the same thing with 2020. Like, the bad thing is we're stuck in the house. We got all these rules. We have to wear masks everywhere, and you gotta wash your hands 2-3 times a day, and there's all this chaos going on with the economy. But the good thing is it's a reset. It's helped us to see how damaged and corrupt the US is fundamentally, like how corrupt our politics is, how bad our economy is just on this house of cards, and how bad our medical system is, our healthcare system is jacked. It's COVID-19 has exposed all of that. So it's just an amazing thing that it's like a reset, that it's gonna expose everything. It's exposed how people really feel. Whereas in the past, people kind of hold in how they feel. Now they're just outright saying that they're racist. So in my opinion, I think that it's better to know, and that's how I've always, like, it's one thing that I appreciate about the South is in the California on the West Coast, people won't say how they really feel, but in the South they'll tell you, yeah, I don't like your kind, get out of here. Me personally, I'd rather know. I don't want to hang out with people who don't want me around. So this has exposed so many different things, and that's why I say that this whole thing is like a reset button. And what do you guys think about that? Is it a positive? Has this whole thing revealing what's really going on behind the scenes? You think that this some kind of positivity that you can find in this whole thing. Let me see. I got Mr. Worldwide says, I thought you all were social distancing in the house. uh, no, we're not. We've lost a few rooms, so now it's the opposite of social distancing. Um, have a PS4 if you get Ghost of. Oh, okay. Is that a good game? Ghost of Tsushima? Is that what it's called? Are you tiling the floor? Nah, we're gonna keep it carpet. We had a flood in our house, and that's why we had to get the carpet torn up and stuff like that. And so yeah, like I said, it's a reset button. Saga says, "What's up, Bruce? I have had the same thing happen to redo. Was better than the original. It'll pass. Thanks, man. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right." Get Lost says, "Nah, because the cops that killed Breonna Taylor are still free." I hear you. There's no bringing back people who have passed away, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form saying that Breonna Taylor's death and George Floyd and many others who have died over the years I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not implying that at all. I'm just saying this stuff's been going on for decades, right? Me, I'm in my 40s. I've been seeing this kind of stuff, this police brutality happen since I was a child. So it's now being exposed to the world, and everybody is seeing it live on camera. And if there's anything that's good came out of it, is that it's exposing the corruption that's going on. I'm not in any way, shape, or form implying that the deaths of these people, these unarmed in many cases people, men and women of color, is good, but my God, it's been going on for decades, and it's like hopefully the social awareness is going everywhere to where people are seeing this some people are seeing this for the first time, and they're shocked, they're appalled, and maybe we'll get something out of it, but we'll see about that. Hopefully we get some change on that. Hassan says, I totally agree with the reset mind set, also economically and professionally. Also, America has her skirt flipped up. Yeah, it's about time that we know that people are exposed to like the dark part of America, and seeing like what's really going on, and like I think that if we embrace the problems here, if we say yes, this is a problem, let's fix it. If we can address it, if we can say yes, this is a problem, yes, economically we need to fix some things. We have a huge socioeconomic gap that where certain people are treated differently because they have wealth and other people are not. Even the Epstein thing, like Epstein is a billionaire. He got away for decades molesting something like 80 young girls. And now all of that's exposed. It's exposing all the people who were involved in it, all the people who went to that island. It's all coming up. And if there's anything that can come out of this reset, I hope that it's to have a purge of all this stuff, and maybe move in a more a better direction. But I don't know. I'm from Mississippi and just spent the last 7 days there. Dojian Max says, "Hey Bruce, do you think the alliance with the U.S. and the Philippine president? What do you think the alliance with the U.S. and the president will make it easier to?" No, I personally don't think that it will make a difference, much of a difference, because right now we have a president, an incumbent president, administration who's very, very tough on immigration, and they've been really putting the vice grips down on it. And I don't see the Senate majority leaders, and I don't see the current administration making a move unless there's something in it for them as far as the immigration process. That's kind of the way they've been dealing with things. So as long as this administration is in office, I don't think that there anything will change. If anything, the relationship between the administration and Duterte administration can go very wrong very fast, because if our president can't get something out of it, he's not gonna do, you know what I mean? Like he's expecting everything but giving very little back, you know. And I guess that's the way people want to do business, but it's kind of disrespectful, you know. It's like a slap in the face to other countries, and in a lot of cases, it's just, I'm not saying that we should just keep giving away things. That's not what I'm saying. It should be equal, you know. But it just seems like we're just disrespecting other countries. So I don't see anything good happen out of it personally, but I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Doja Max says the U.S. is putting billions in protecting the Philippines. That trickles down from the process of passport and visa. Filipina to come to the U.S. I think that's, national security is a completely different issue. So us being in the Philippines is strategically positive for the U.S. in that we get to have some level of control over the South China Sea, which the Chinese are trying to take over. I don't know if you look into that, but the Chinese government has put they created islands in the South China Sea, and they're basically claiming the entire China Sea. So us being there is actually strategically good for us to secure that trade route, because that trade route it affects trade with Malaysia, Vietnam, the Philippines, and several other countries that China's trying to take over that whole sea and then control that whole trade route. So us being there is actually just as beneficial to us as it is to the Philippines. So Tony says the president in the Philippines about 4 days ago decided to not let the U.S. back into the U.S. at Subic Bay. Yeah, I just don't see anything good coming out of it. First of all, President Duterte does not like the U.S. at all. If you think that I'm exaggerating, just look at some of the stuff he said. You know, I'm not saying that's good or bad. You know, in some circles, you know, I mean, I think some of them feel like they have a right to not like America, but what I'm saying is that that administration is not, him in particular, don't like the U.S. Just look at some of his statements. Look at what his ideas are. He's tried to kick the U.S. out several times, you know, and they have their own, incentive. They have their own intent over there in the Philippines, and whatever they want to do, that's up to them. That's on them. And then on our end, you already know the deal with our administration. Yeah, 93 days to vote. So I hope you guys are actually gonna do that. All right, let me see what else I got going on. It was something I wanted to address, and it came up in the comments. And this is, I hate to try to highlight the negativity, because there's so much positivity that comes over on my channel, but this is a great opportunity to address some of the bigotry that's out there. And this mindset is something else. So most of the comments that I got on this video that I recently did, Filipina wife wants money, right, where I just explained our situation is not just black and white as far as the money situation. What I mean to say is Yuri and I made money together, and I'm currently making more income than I've ever made in my life. So, and that's because I have a supportive partner who's willing to build something big with me. And that's all I was saying in the video. So, but look at this. This is the kind of comments that I think that highlights a real problem in the U.S. I want to talk specifically to Filipinas or Filipinos or anyone from any kind of foreigner. If you're coming from the continent of Africa, if you're coming from Europe, this is the kind of people in the U.S. you want to avoid if this is your spouse. and I'm going to break this down. I want to read it real quick, and then I want to break it down, and I want you to make up your own decisions about what's going on in the mindset of this person. Okay, this says, in my video, I talked about how me and my wife have built something together, and we're able to help both of our sides of our families, because both sides of our families are not rich. So we help my mom all the time. We help my nieces, my nephews. We help her side of the family. So that's all I was saying in there, and saying and dispelling the myth of Filipinos want money. And his response was, unless she comes to America from a country that is equal to, watch the language here, or better than Switzerland, I would be careful. Filipinos are taught from the time that they learn to speak to use a American for personal gain. Apparently, you don't know any lawyers get any calls from naive American men on weekly basis that thought it was a good idea to be with Filipinos. And they said, if she asked you to purchase a house for her in the Philippines, oh my God, run, run, run. I have heard countless stories. It's not worth the risk. There are too many great single ladies here in America. No reason to get involved with needy losers in poor countries thousands of miles away. Okay, so this person right here is a bigot. So, and I'm going to break down exactly why I say this person is a bigot. And what I want to say to foreign men and women, regardless of your gender, regardless sexual orientation, regardless of any of that, if you are coming to the U.S. from any country, avoid people like this. There are a lot of bigots in America, a lot. It's surprisingly many, and the mindset is this air of superiority and arrogance that's kind of piped into certain people from a young age here. And there's a culture that allows this behavior to happen. And it's not just in white people. It's not just in white men. It's also in some people of color. And it always blows my mind when I see it, because we go through this kind of stuff all the time here. So it don't make no sense when I find somebody who is black and a bigot. And when I say a bigot, let me break that down. Let's tear that terminology apart and understand what that means. This is someone who cannot tolerate or adapt to another culture. They are offended by the very presence of a person of another culture, creed, religion, or even just a different skin color. This is perpetuated in the United States, and it's a real big problem that we have here. And it permeates, and that's why we have the current administration that we have. Bigotry is huge here. And it is shifting. It's slowly shifting to a point where it's more inclusive, but it's going to take some time, because it's been baked into the original creation of America all the way back to the Constitution. And this is coming from somebody who's the descendant of a slave, but the concepts of the Constitution are beautiful, but only when they apply to everyone. Originally, when it was created, it didn't apply to everyone. So that's why I keep saying that the racism and white supremacy is baked into it, because originally the Constitution was created for land-owning rich white men. That's not me attacking white people at all. I got no problem with any race at all, right? But I'm just telling you the truth of the United States. That said, I love the United States for what it could be in the future, and how it is that an immigrant and the children of immigrants, such as Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, is the child of an immigrant. I don't know if you knew that, but his great-grandfather was an immigrant from Germany or Belarus or Belgium or something like that. But Barack Obama, a really smart guy, regardless of what you think of him personally, is also a child of an immigrant. His father is from Kenya. Elon Musk, whose company just sent a dude back and forth from the International Space Station, is an immigrant himself. He's from South Africa. There's so much opportunity here, and there's so much potential for us as a human race to grow, because that's what it's going to take. I mean, that's why I like the idea of America, what it could be. It's going to get there eventually, but in the meantime, there's a lot of people like this who are bigots, who are saying things like, listen, let's break this down. What he says is, unless she comes from a country that is equal or better than Switzerland. Okay, so he's implying that other countries aren't as good as are not the equal to America. What does that mean? Think to yourself, what does that mean? Does he mean economically? He didn't say economically. You know, if he said a fact like the U.S., America makes X amount of GDP and it makes more than this country, that would be a fact. This right here is a very generalized statement that states that the America is not equal to certain countries. Certain countries do not equal up to America. You know, I think it's okay to have pride in where you come from, but I mean, to me, this is ethno-nationalism, and this country is more superior than this country, because if you read the full context of what this guy is saying, it's straight up bigotry. And so, and you'll find people right on this live. I'm currently live, and there's people that believe exactly what this guy is saying. And then he goes on to say Filipinos are taught from the age they can speak to use Americans. So most Filipinos are not thinking about Americans. They're thinking about their life. They're thinking about their family. They're thinking about their country. They're not worried about manipulating some American guy. So, like, that's another stereotype. I've never even heard of this kind of. Yeah, it's just weird. And then he goes on to say something about lawyers that makes no sense at all. It's just a lot of stereotypes, and you could tell that this guy was hurt sometime in his past, so he assumes all of this race of people are the same, and that's a very prejudiced and racist and discriminatory thing to think and do. So all I want to say is, if you happen to be from the Philippines, from Kenya, from Ghana, from Turkey, from Egypt, and you want to come to the U.S. and you have a spouse, if they happen to be a bigot, then don't do it. Don't do it. Don't have nothing to do with people like this. Don't waste your time. You will be disappointed. They will disappoint you. So that's all I want to say about that. And let me see. What comments do I have here? The Constitution makes slavery legal upon imprisonment. Yes, it does. That's the 13th Amendment. So there's still some issues here in the U.S. The slavery used to be in the Constitution, is in the Constitution, had to be amended in the original from the original Constitution. That's a fact. Votes were suppressed. Women were not allowed to vote. There's a lot of issues in America, you know. Said Get Lost blog says you should have Yuri speak on this. Oh, Yuri has a lot to say about this kind of attitude, because she has met people with this kind of attitude, and I've had to explain everything I'm telling you guys. Her and I have many conversations about this, because she has met many, bigots, just racist people, and it's crazy, it's colored her whole vision of the U.S. and it's a sad thing. It makes me sad, because I think that this country has so much potential to be great, to truly be great. Mr. Worldwide says, this is from someone who has never traveled. Possibly. I noticed a lot of people who believe this way have never traveled. Don't really know many people. Don't really know a lot of people who are black. Usually if a race is against black, they don't really know a lot of black people. They've not really traveled. They have a very narrow world view. And the same thing with Filipinos. They've never been to the Philippines. They've never been to Thailand a lot of times. And so That's a lot of times what's going on. Let me see. M Sway says I had that bigot from my soon-to-be ex-wife from Zambia. Had some very crazy issues about black in this country based on lies from TV and movies. Yeah, yeah, and it goes both ways. People have in other countries have all of these stereotypes about uh, me as a black person in America. They have a stereotype about who I am, and then there's black people have a stereotype about all white people being a certain way. Stereotypical racist, poor white trash. No, that's not. All of us do not fit in these categories and boxes. So having like one of the things the military gave me that's really been a blessing is that I got to meet all kinds of people from all walks of life. I met wealthy people from Washington. I met racist people from the South and became friends with them. I met worldly, brilliant people from New York City. I've met people from all over the world, all over the U.S., and it's colored my perspective. It gave me a wider world view about who people are, not just in the U.S. but all over the world, and that's really been a blessing. To give me make me more open-minded and more curious about the world, more curious about how other people live, and it's just been really great. Wei Gukenwei says the internet has made things worse. People get too comfortable online because they know they can't get punched in the mouth behind their keyboard. Funny, good one. Get Lost Blog says, as minorities need to educate the world about U.S. blacks and Asians and how we interact with each other. And I think that goes in many different directions. The more that I get to know people from all walks all over the world, it really has allowed me to love people in a deeper way. But also made me more jaded because I've seen a lot of bad things too. So, this is the last one I'll read about this, and I'll move on to the next subject. Sagas says, Hugh, breathe. He's saying, my wife and I have done the same on both sides. Just going there and visiting, I realized how important extended family is. They educate, house, and provide for each other. Yeah, I appreciate that too. Like making me see how other people live makes me realize America does have issues. You know what I mean? Like in my opinion, the family bonding in the Philippines is superior to the U.S. So to make these sweeping statements such as America, you get a country that's equal to America. Like, what does that mean? All right, so I wanted to talk about something else. Probably should be reserved for another channel, but I can't resist. I want to know what you guys think about this. But let me bring it up real quick. And I also want to take this time to apologize to somebody I've made fun of for years on this channel. I want to apologize to you. There's this dude named, I don't know if if you're a long time viewer of this channel, you know who I'm talking about. His name is Andy. Ancient Aliens Andy is what I call him. The reason why he earned that name was because one time, I'm talking about relationships. Me and Yuri are talking about relationships and stuff back when we used to just do one-on-ones with me and her and have everybody chime in and stuff. Andy gets on and starts talking about ancient aliens. And we're like, what? Who is this guy? We're like, who is this guy? And he's just talking about all this weird conspiracy stuff and talking about aliens and stuff. I'm like, what is he talking about? And it turns out he's right. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. But 2020 just got way weirder, and I really want to know what you guys think about this. So I want to turn chat on so everybody can see what everybody's saying about this. So a UAP is an unidentified aerial phenomenon. That's what they're calling UFOs now. And the Pentagon is about to release verified information on several different formally classified. They're going to declassify a bunch of information on unidentified aerial phenomenon. And not too long ago, let me see if I can find the video. Not too long ago, they had a video that was released by a third-party organization that they verified it. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. It was a video of a UFO and it being chased by Navy pilots, and people wanted to know if it was real or not. And what happened was the Navy actually verified that this video that you're seeing here is real. Now, if you watch, you should check it out. But if you watch this video, it shows them chasing a UFO. This is a bad copy of it. Let me see if I can find a better one. Yeah, here's one right here. So what you're seeing is the U.S. Navy chasing an aircraft, some sort of craft, right? That, look how it's flying. First of all, it looks like it's defying the laws of physics. It's a cylinder. It's a saucer, and it's, see how it's tilting as it's going. It's going extremely fast, by the way. If you listen to the audio, they're talking about how fast it's going, and they can barely track it because it's jamming their signals somehow. So they're pretty certain that this craft is not. They've already verified, as a matter of fact, that this is not from China. It's not from Russia, and a couple of politicians have come forward and said that this stuff is not from this world. They have information that the U.S. government, parts of the U.S. government, and parts of private organizations in the U.S. have access to materials that are not from this planet. So I just want you to really think about this. So apparently this stuff is real. I've always thought it was, but this new level of verification it removes all doubt. And they're about to release more information about this. And what does this mean for humanity? You know, what does this mean for religions? What does this mean for our existence? What does this mean? If they have these material, how is our government going to use it? Get Lost Vlogs, his opinion is, we finna get probed and die. Oh my God. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, this right here has got me thinking, what? This is a crazy year, man. I mean, started off with a global epidemic in China, where China lied about what they had for a long time. So I tried to suppress the information until it was leaked out. Then they had to admit what was going on. Turned into a pandemic all over the globe. And now our economy might hit a depression phase. We're already in a recession, but we might go into a depression. Then on top of that, you got global protests. It's not just in the U.S. that the protests are happening. For all other kinds of reasons, Russia's getting huge protests against Putin. Uh, I mean, I'm probably the only people who aren't protesting right now, like China and North Korea. But Iran has been protesting for different things all over Europe. They've been protesting. It's we're having some kind of a shift in power, and on top of all of that, now we have a confirmed UFOs. And I just want to know what you guys think. Like, what do you think? What do you make of all of this stuff that's happening? Really, what do you, at this point? Everything's on the table. Everything, all kinds of conspiracy theories are on the table. All kinds of any kind of theory that you want to throw out there, or hypothesis that you want to throw out there is valid because nobody knows anything, and they're about to release a bunch of information about UFOs that they have on a different level. Art Cole Drones, how you doing? What do you think about this? Art, I want to know, what do you think about this UFO phenomenon being released very soon? Good Lost Vlog says over a million just protested in Germany too. Yeah, they're protesting about masks, aren't they? Aren't they against masks? The anti-mask people have started going over to Germany. What do you guys think? I'm getting crickets here. While you guys are talking amongst yourselves, let me just be honest. I really don't know what to think about what's about to happen. But it brings to mind a lot of old stuff that I would just kind of disregard. It's one thing to see the unmanned aerial phenomenon, UFOs. It's one thing to see it and have eyewitnesses. My mom says she saw one when she was a little kid. And not only that, but her brother was there, her mom was there, and there's another couple walking down the street and they all saw it. So 5 people right there saw it. And my mom's not into any of this. There's no reason, she didn't get any fame out of it. Why would she make that up? And my uncle approved it. I mean, not approved it, but validated what she saw. So I've always believed that there's something else going on, just based off of some people that I talk to who I trust. But the fact that they're about to announce it and they have materials from it, the whole Roswell incident, I don't know if you've read anything about that, but that I've kind of been shaky on. But essentially, a dude named Bob Lazar, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but Bob Lazar claims to have worked there on the vehicles, and he said that we not only have recovered some of their vehicles, but we've reverse engineered it so we know how to actually use some of the technology that they have, that you see on this video here. So far everything Bob Lazar has said has come true in the last 30 years. It's freaky. And now they're about to release everything. Well, I don't know if they're going to release everything, but they're going to release a lot of stuff very soon from the Pentagon. So I don't really know what to think of. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I know that it brings to light a lot of lies the government has told over probably 50 years, half a century of lying. Just more corruption that our government has, and it has nothing to do with any one party. It's our whole system. It's just the whole system of just cover-ups and lies and making people who want to tell the public what's going on look like fools and trying to destroy their life. It's an indictment on how corrupt our system has become, and I just hope that we can do better. I hope that our elected officials can one day step up. And I got to hand it to people like Reed from New Mexico. He was a senator from New Mexico, and I can't remember. Harry Reid, yes. Harry Reid did a lot of work on this. Like, regardless of the politics of that you feel about Harry Reid, like, the dude did a lot on unburying all this classified UFO phenomena. If you read some of the stuff he said, wow, mind blowing. Harry Reid knows some things, and he hasn't said anything, but he's implied a lot. And then Marco Rubio, another one who's just come out and asked the questions like, "What's going on?" And regardless of politics, right? Let's not make this in a COVID-19 situation where people are dying and we're still politicizing what's going on. This is something that both parties have come to the government and said, "Hey, look, military industrial complex, you need to tell us what's going on." And I personally really appreciate that. Let me see. M. Sway said the military will only release just enough if they did think about the toilet tissue panic we had in March. So he's saying that if they didn't just release just enough, we might have a bunch of idiots buying up toilet paper and going crazy. And they might be right. They might have a point. I don't know. Given the same situation, like, you got to think to yourself, what would I do, knowing that humanity can't handle this kind of technology? I mean, if there was anti-gravity, what could a country do? Like, are they going to behave correctly? I gotta say no. Are they going to do the right thing? No, I don't think so. I think that it seems like more power corrupts. Greatly corrupts certain people. So maybe it's better that they kept it secret all these years, because we're too immature as a species to handle this kind of thing. Get Lost Vlog says, we need to take one of those aircrafts and take it to one of the exoplanets that can sustain life, because I'm getting annoyed with Earth. Get Lost Blog says, I feel like the government is going to try to kill the aliens. Then the aliens going to kill us because Big Brother don't know how to chill. Mr. Mike T. Man says, well, if you technically think about it, it's the Bible, Ezekiel. In the Bible, Ezekiel saw the wheel way in the middle of the air, the big wheel turning by faith, a little wheel and the grace of God wheel. I know what you're saying. There's a passage in the Bible from Ezekiel where he talks about an angel inside of a wheel within a wheel, and there's angels with these crazy different faces on them. He's trying to describe ancient aliens. This is what ancient aliens Andy was trying to tell us all this time. That people have been seeing these things possibly for millennia, thousands of years. Humanity has been seeing these things and then interpreting what they saw in the language that they had back then. Like, to them, everything was divine, or everything was an angel or God or mythical creatures. In their eyes, when they're seeing these things happen, all they see is gods, and all they see. And there's a couple books. Actually, there's a book I'm reading about this very thing, and it dips into ancient aliens. And I've been actually checking it out for the last year or so. There's this dude named, if you're interested in this stuff, a dude named Tom DeLonge, and he's an ex-singer of Blink-182. I know this sounds weird. This sounds really out there, and it sounds really strange. But as you read it, it starts to make a little bit more sense. Anyway, Tom DeLonge from Blink-182 of all things had gained all these contacts from Lockheed Martin Skunk Works people. He was able to get to talk to them. He was able to talk to went from ex-military people who worked on some of this stuff and have seen different things, and he was able to get himself in a place where he was talking to people in Skunk Works in Lockheed Martin currently, people in the Pentagon currently, people who know and maybe even have direct access to all this stuff and know way more than they're telling the public. And he was able to get in there to the point where he actually got these people to get involved with a nonprofit organization called To the Stars. It's called To the Stars Academy if you're interested in it. Crazy. It just goes so deep. So he's got the ex Skunk Works guy, the guy who retired from Skunk Works in Lockheed Martin, who's rumored to possibly have some of these vehicles, right? That guy works with Tom DeLonge. He's got ex CIA, ex DOD personnel. Um, all kinds of people came to this nonprofit, and what they're trying to do is slowly release this information that the government has. They're trying to assist the government in releasing this information and then using the technology for the betterment of mankind. That's what they're saying. It's really out there. I know it doesn't make any sense, but what part of 2020 has made any sense? Big Truck TV, a Big Trucker says, I think if UFOs are real, they're probably reconnaissance drones. Possibly. Big Trucker says, any species with the energy necessary to make it here from wherever they're from is so advanced it would be like humans versus ants. Yeah, very true. Very true. I mean, they probably just come here to observe us like we observe cattle or wild animals, and then tag them and then just observe what they're doing just to see what their habits are and stuff like that. Like they would be way beyond us. The military will. I'd be really interested in knowing what types of species and levels of species have contacted the U.S. It sounds so crazy. I can't even believe I'm talking about this, but I think that there's probably more than one species. Because if there's one, that means there's billions. That means there's billions. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good points in here. This year's so crazy. Like nothing at this point is gonna surprise me. I have all the stuff that has happened in the last 4 or 5 months. Nothing at this point is gonna surprise me when they release this stuff. And but I've been like trying to dig more and more into some of the old stuff that I used to read and getting back into figuring out like what there's so much crazy stuff. I mean, it's just stuff that I completely disregarded. I'm having to rethink. Like books about okay, somebody asked me, Macho Guapito says, Bruce, what's your opinion about Bob Lazar? Okay, Bob Lazar, holy crap. Bob Lazar. I think he's totally legit. I think that he's been right for the last 30 years and people have been chastising him and looking at him. I think that the government did their best to destroy his life and discredit him. And I think that everything he said has come true. Like he talked about, first of all, I don't know if you knew this, but he's the one who exposed Area 51 in the first place. Before him, people did not know that there was an Area 51. He exposed it. So that when he first talked about it, nobody believed him. He said there was a secret base in the middle of the desert in Nevada. People were like, really? By Las Vegas, there's a secret base near Las Vegas. That's crazy, right? Turns out it was true. He's the reason why we all know that there's an Area 51 and what's going on out there. And have some idea. I'm sure that they've moved on. It's probably no longer even in Area 51. I would imagine it's been moved. All that whole stuff has been moved elsewhere. Since it got exposed like in the 80s and 90s. But so he's the one who exposed that. He's the one who exposed that that the government has certain vehicles. Now Harry Reid, the ex senator of Nevada, has confirmed that. Look up his quote about that. It's if you have any doubt when you read from some of these guys who are kind of saying, implying certain things, you can tell that they've seen some stuff. Just listen to what they're saying. And now possibly the Pentagon's about to reveal some of this stuff, some of what they have potentially. And on top of that, have you thought about this? They just created a new department called the Space Force, right? I think that now they've been talking about the Space Force since probably 2011. They've been talking about it for a long time. The current administration didn't make it up, despite them trying to make that. They're trying to create that perception, but no. Donald Rumsfeld was the first one I heard say that, talk about the Space Force, and way back, even before that, before 2011, he's been talking about it. So very interesting, very, very interesting guy, Bob Lazar. But another thing he predicted was element 115. So element 115 is the element he was talking about like something like 20 years ago. And he was saying that was that there's this element that they're using to manipulate gravity. So that's two different confirmations. So this ship right here that you see right here, the way it's flying, it's a disc that's flying belly first. So if I could, let's say that this was the disc, right? This is the disc. It's flying like this. Bob Lazar said that that's how they fly because the gravity, there's element 115 in the belly of the disc. And he says what it does is it pushes down gravity so that the object is falling into gravity, right? Since they control. Bob Lazar is the truth, man. Like, if you need to watch everything that there's something on, if you have Netflix, there's a show by his name is Jeremy Cordell, and that guy did a video called Bob Lazar on Netflix. Check that out. And he goes through a line of things that Bob Lazar has predicted that have come true over time, and mind-blowing stuff. Really good watch. It's and now a lot of that stuff that he's saying is about to be released by the Pentagon, and they confirmed this craft right here that you see on the screen was confirmed by the U.S. military. Let me see. Got another question. Hey, Instigator, how you doing, man? We're just talking about aliens, by the way. Welcome to 2020. M. Sway says, do you think that ancient Egyptians were part of an alien race? Nah, I don't think so. I think the books that I've been reading, and I'm in the middle of them right now, and there's lots of, I don't know. It's hearsay at this point. It's hearsay and conjecture. It's all theories from idiots like me who don't know what the hell they're talking about, by the way. But the book is talking about how Egyptians, not only Egyptians, but the Sumerians, all the way back to the ancient civilizations, essentially aliens didn't create the pyramids. Aliens didn't create the Tower of Babylon or the Ziggurat Tower or whatever it's called in Sumeria. They didn't create that. But basically what the book is saying is that these ancient peoples saw these craft and actually somehow saw these aliens entering the atmosphere, flying across, maybe even talking to them, maybe even had some kind of interaction with them. And they basically were worshiping these things that they saw in the sky. And they're explaining these things that they saw in the sky and explaining the phenomenon. So whenever they're talking about angels appearing or they're aligning the pyramids to it with the star. I don't know if you knew this, but the pyramids are lined up with the stars. Like that's why people are like, how in the hell did they do this? It's not necessarily that the aliens helped them, but maybe because they knew that these things are coming from the stars, they knew the significance of the stars. That's the kind of stuff that the books are talking about. It's not necessarily that the aliens interacted with humans well, some of them do say that the humans were interacting with aliens. But it goes straight into crazy town. And at this point, what's crazy? I don't even know. Like, maybe some of that's true too. I have no idea. Mr. Mike T. Man says the Strategic Defense Initiative was proposed was a proposed missile defense system invented to protect the United States from attack by ballistic strategic nuclear weapons. Or or was Star Wars or SDI created to protect us from aliens? Ancient alien researchers are saying that this might be the case. Just to quote Mr. Ancient Aliens Andy. All right. M. Sway says, I think so. A lot of references to spacecraft, etc., based off of the books I've read years ago. Yeah, maybe it's not so much that aliens created the pyramid of Giza, but maybe they interacted with them in some way. Maybe they learned some things from them. Maybe they just by seeing and observing what was possible, maybe in some cases they were making up stories to figure out what's going on behind the scenes. Why are these discs flying in the sky? How is it that they can fly faster than lightning? How is it they can manipulate things around them to, maybe they were seeing things and then talking about what they were seeing, but using their language, their own language. So, man, I'm tripping out about this, man. Let me see, what kind of references can I give you? Okay, number one, if you wanted to get deeper into this, there's something called To the Stars. Let me see if I can just bring it up. To the Stars. That Netflix special from Jeremy, I believe his name is Jeremy Cardell. It's called Bob Lazar. Just go on Netflix, type in Bob Lazar, you'll see it. Another thing to check out is To the Stars Academy. These guys somehow are getting tons of information. So these guys right here, that's created by Tom DeLonge, the guy who used to be in Blink-182, who's gotten in contact. Here's him. That's him right there. And then this guy, Hal Puthoff. Wow. So Hal Puthoff is a genius, a polymath genius who's all over all kinds of cutting edge science and technology, particularly in lasers, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, patent holder in laser communications. Yeah, that's him right here. He's involved with it. This dude right here, let me see. There's another dude that I was like blown away. Steve Justice, this guy right here. This dude right here used to be the CEO at Skunkworks in Lockheed Martin. Yeah, this dude is for real, man. So these guys right here, if you're actually interested, they got a whole bunch of books and videos and stuff to watch. And these guys are the ones who broke this information right here. They're the ones that leaked this information. They leaked this video that you're seeing right here to the internet. And then it was verified. Now, some people were saying, oh, it's fake, it's this and that. But there's a captain who's been interviewed who actually was chasing this very UFO, and then the Pentagon actually signed off on it and said, yep, that's real. We don't know what that is. That's the real deal. So yeah, this rabbit hole just goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And this is not conspiracy theory stuff. This is real. This is really happening. This is not a drill. Macho Guapito says, Chariots of the Gods by, okay, Eric Vinn. All right, I'll check that out. Read it. Chariots of the Gods, huh? Okay, let me write that down. Chariots of the Gods. So the one I'm reading right now is by Tom DeLonge, and it's called Gods, Men, and War. And it's right now talking about going all the way back. It's borrowing a lot from different big books that have been around for a really long time. Like a dude named Sitchin, who talked about this in something like the 1800s when he deciphered the Sumerian texts or something, and his interpretation was that these ancient people saw aliens, and then we're talking about aliens. Of course, they're talking about gods and angels and stuff like that. And a lot of the stuff from ancient Sumeria, actually, I don't know if you guys knew this, but a lot of stuff in the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, borrows a lot from Sumeria, ancient Sumeria, and there's a lot of, like, I'll give you a couple of examples. From Noah's Ark, the flood, that's ancient Sumeria. That comes from that. Adam and Eve, also. Oh man, several things from the first 5 books of the Bible, the Old Testament, actually come from ancient Sumeria. It's very similar stories, and it can't be a coincidence. So that's why Sumeria is very important. Let me see. Mr. Mighty Man says, in building pyramids, even with today's technology, it would be almost impossible. So, me able to levitate large objects with alien technology would make it possible. Yeah, at this point, like I said, every theory is no better or no worse than another. So maybe. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know what to say. I'm blown away. Another good book to read if you're interested in going deeper in this, and somebody who may have an inside scoop on all of this, is called Secret Machines. Another book by Tom DeLonge. There's an audio book of it, and it's The Secret is spelled with a K. Let me see if I can bring it up. Secret Machines, and what they try to do with that book is make a story out of what they believe has happened. They tried to make it has a character, and it has here it is right here's book 2, I think, this one right here. But Secret Machines, there it is right there. And it's so packed with information. This book right here, this God, Man, and War, Volume 1, has so much information on what they believe has happened as far as ancient civilizations on Earth, interpreting real phenomenon they were seeing, and interpreting in terms of religion. That's mainly what the book is about. And then it talks about all the way to ancient Sumeria, like 5,000 BC, all the way until recently, like in the recent early 1900s, where they're saying that possibly people in our own government have had contacts with aliens. Sounds crazy, man. Even as I'm saying it, it sounds crazy coming out of my mouth. You have a P.O. box if you want to check it out. I actually might be able to get the book for free, but thank you so much for offering that, Mim Sway. Really appreciate that. I might be able to get it digitally for free. So hold that thought. I might take you up on that offer, by the way. It must be that good though, huh? I'll check it out. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this whole thing. I'm like you guys. I don't know what the hell's going on, and I'm so focused on day-to-day activity. I don't have a lot of time to think about what's going on with the UFO phenomenon, but it's really heating up. So it is worthy of our attention. And so that's why I've been giving it a lot of attention and trying to dig deeper to figure out what the heck is going on. So, and it's decades and decades of information. Oh, I mean other books. Oh, okay. Let me get your email address, MSway. And then maybe we can I'm a big reader, so maybe we can have an Ancient Aliens uh, library book club. Ancient Aliens book club being started right now, live on Yuribruce. Let me get that. Let me get that email off you, and then we can. I don't carry these kinds of books. I can't. Unfortunately, I can't trade with you. I can't. I don't have. I mean, not that I'm aware of. And lately, I've been buying just digital books. So, so yeah. But that's about it, guys. I'm about to go eat. Just want to talk to you. Want to see what you guys thought about what's going on with all of this. Just another crazy day in 2020, and it just means that 2021 is going to be even more insane than this year. Uh, very, very interesting. Macho Guapito says Fingerprints of God by Graham Hancock. That name sounds familiar. Fingerprints of the Gods. Okay, I'll check that out. Apparently, you guys are already ancient alien theorists, and I'm just now catching up. All these years, I've been making fun of Ancient Aliens Andy, and turns out he was right. I feel like a fool. We're all fools. We should have listened to Ancient Aliens Andy, because he was right. You were right. If you're out there, Ancient Alien Andy, I owe you a beer, man. Give me your Cash App. I'm gonna hook you up. I'm serious. If you ever see this. All right, guys. That's it for me on this one. I'm getting out of here. Thanks for watching. Appreciate everybody. Everybody's participation. Thank you to everybody who's been promoting this channel. Thank you for the likes, the thumbs up, the subscribes. Every little bit helps. I'm going to leave this up for a bit so that you guys can discuss amongst yourselves if you want to. And feel free to drop more books in there in the comments. Sign me up for the Ancient Civilizations and Aliens book club. Oh my goodness, that is insane. I can't believe this. You know, I'm hoping that maybe I'm being a little too naive, but I'm hoping that maybe humanity can gain things like energy sources where we don't have to destroy the atmosphere to live comfortably. That would be cool. Faster means of transportation would be cool. You know, that would be great. Just things like that. I hope that we can have things like that for society. Maybe that will. But the thing is, we have cell phones. We have super fast computers. We got internet. We're more connected than ever. We still can't figure out how to treat each other better. You know, we have all this technology. We're so smart and can calculate when the universe was created and how many stars in the sky and break apart atoms and make websites, and we can't figure out how to treat each other better. I just don't know if that technology in our hands is a great idea. You know, I mean, they learned to split the atom and then made a bomb and then blew up 2 cities. I mean, it just that same energy could be used to fuel a whole city. And Ancient Aliens Andy, we were just talking about you, sir. We were talking about how you actually ended up being right. I don't know if you knew this, Ancient Aliens Andy, but apparently there is a very good chance that aliens, not only are they real, but they're ancient. Our ancestors saw these very same crafts flying around in the sky. Our ancestors may have been influenced by this otherworldly technology and saw them as gods and angels. And Ancient Aliens Andy says, "How are you?" "I'm doing fine, sir." And he says, "Really? Right about what?" "You were right that there were aliens in ancient times." That's what you were right about, Andy. I don't know if you knew this, but the Pentagon is about to declassify a bunch of UFO phenomena that has happened, and several lawmakers have validated that our government may have actual material proof of alien of not only aircraft, but have the actual aircraft and may have even had some of the aliens. But I can neither confirm nor deny that, but they are about to release a whole bunch more information. Andy says, "They are real. I've seen the ships in mid-air over my neighborhood. Oh my lord. Years ago, multiple times in Florida. Wow, that's incredible. I have waved at them so that they stop when and show colors spinning, and they stop then show colors spinning around their ship." Are you effing with me, Andy? Well, I could tell you my mom saw one once. Story I've told on here a couple times. My mom says she saw one when she was a kid, and then my uncle, he also was there, and then my grandmother was there. They saw it. So I don't know why she would lie about that. So I'm pretty sure that she saw something, right? And now this one, I don't know if you ever saw this, Andy, this footage right here that was released by To the Stars Academy. And it features a couple of Navy captains who were flying, Navy pilots who are flying and are following this craft. And it's defying the laws of physics as we know it. So, and look how it's tilting. It's going extremely fast that they're barely able to track it. So the Navy, the DOD has declassified and validated that they don't know what the hell this thing is, and they don't think that it came from China or Russia. So yeah, man, looks like you were absolutely right. So I've been reading about this kind of stuff and trying to figure out like what's going on, what do we already know, what has already been released. That's the kind of stuff that I'm going through right now. Do you have any, Andy, do you recommend any documentaries or books about this? And have you had any other encounters with aliens? Being totally real, not blowing smoke, not trying to make fun of you or anything, man. This is real. Have you had? I personally can't say that I've seen anything I can say with any kind of certainty was a craft from another place, or I've never seen any aliens, nothing like that. Had other stuff happen to me, but had nothing to do with aliens or alien spacecraft or any of that kind of stuff. But what has happened to you? Has anything happened to any of you guys out there? And you know, it's okay if you don't want to talk about it. I understand. I totally get it, you know. But I'm just curious. I want to know what the hell's going on. I want to know what this means to our species, what this means to us human beings. Andy says, "I'm serious. One even shined a light over my window. I swear. I felt a weird energy and felt uneasy about it, and then heard a knock on my door at 2 a.m. in the morning. Then a pebble at my door. Oh my God. I slid under the covers after that, scared the hell out of me." What in the hell? Did it have a sound? How far away was it in the sky? Could you hear? It wasn't. Was it like? I mean, could it have been a helicopter? Is what I'm trying to say. Could it have been something we know hovers, like a drone or something like that? Or was it completely silent? Like, what did you hear when you saw that craft? After I waved at it, hours later, the colors changed. The colors changed. The light occurred. Oh, after I waved at it, hours later, the light occurred. I mean, did you? Wow. What do you think it was? Like, do you think that they were trying to make contact with you? Did you? You said you felt strange. Like, what do you mean by that? Do you mean I felt a weird energy and felt uneasy about it? Then heard a knock on the door at 2 a.m. You didn't, so it tells me that you didn't knock on it. You didn't answer the door. It was right above my building. Helicopters make noise. It was silent. I felt a weird energy. A weird energy. A weird energy. Maybe it was trying to communicate. I mean, did you have any weird dreams or anything like that? Do you have any weird recurring nightmares about what's happened? Were you under an influence of any kind of substance? Valid question, Andy. Yeah, I can't say that anything like that. Well, there was this one weird time, but I don't know if it was connected to any kind of aliens or anything. Andy says it was close. It was close. The white light was bright. Yeah, it was at least 20 or more. I've seen at least 20 or more of these ships. No, I don't take drugs or drink. You saw at least 20 or more? Have you seen any recently, or was this like years ago? That is a trip, man. Do they appear in that area that you live in? What part of Florida do you live in, if you don't mind me asking? Are there a lot of incidents in that area like that? I wanted to see what you saw. Andy says, then a helicopter came the next day around my neighborhood. Usually, when I see them, a black helicopter follows after. This does not sound real, Andy. Oh my god, what in the hell's going on? What in the. Okay, Palm Beach. Last time I saw one was 5 years ago. I'm in West Palm Beach. Did anybody else? I'd be curious to see if there was any kind of reports in the area. I don't know if you have you ever heard of the Phoenix Lights. There was this. Oh my god, this is a great documentary. If you're interested in checking it out, it's called. Oh, is it Phoenix Lights? Lights over Phoenix. Anyway, just Google Phoenix Lights and you'll see a. What happened was in the 90s, this huge craft, like the craft is, they said it was like several football fields and it was a V-shaped craft. It was like shaped like this, and it was flying over a county in Phoenix, a few counties in Phoenix. It's so big and it flew so slowly, drifting over the skyline, that hundreds of people in Phoenix saw it. Hundreds of people saw it, and so many people saw it that even the governor himself saw it. The governor, everybody was asking questions like, "What is this?" Military said, "Oh, it's just flares." People were like, "That wasn't no damn flare." So they went and contacted their congressmen and their senators to say, "Hey, listen, I want to know what was flying over." And even the governor actually asked, like, "What's going on? What's flying over?" Then the governor kind of made fun of it and stuff, and he got in trouble. But later on, when he retired, he said, "Yeah, I saw it, and I was just trying to calm people down. That's why I was kind of making jokes and stuff." But yeah, Phoenix Lights, it's a trip. Hundreds of people saw it, including police, including the governor. and it was huge. And it was a craft that had no sound that just floated over several counties. Let me see. And he said they appear a lot, not as much as in the past 4 years. And I used to see shooting stars at 7 to 8 p.m. and then they just stopped. Macho Cuapito says in spring '97, while visiting my sister in Phoenix, I saw something then where they were out they were out there for like a week. So the Phoenix Lights, that might have been the time frame when the Phoenix Lights happened. I don't remember if that's, but it was a big national story. Let me see if I can find Phoenix Lights. Phoenix Lights. Phoenix Lights events. Okay, now this is like a business or something. Okay, I think here's an article about it happening. Oh, March '97. Was this what you saw, Macho Copito? Listen, check this out. 23 years. Wait, hold on. Let me change this thing. Move. What's going on here? There we go. Let me move this. Check this out. 23 years later, the Phoenix Lights are still unexplained. I believe this happened in '97. 23 years ago, people of Phoenix witnessed one of the most infamous UFO incidents in history. Yeah, here's the film I was talking about by Seth Breedlove. Takes an in-depth look at the so-called Phoenix Lights on the trail of the UFOs. Yeah, from Phoenix to all the way to Las Vegas. And look, March 13, 1997, hundreds of Arizonans called their local law enforcement and popular UFO reporting hotline to report a series of strange lights moving over their cities and towns. The Phoenix Lights case remains one of the largest UFO sightings in history and continues to be an established fixture in contemporary UFO disclosure. Yeah, you might want to see this. Macho Guapito, if you're watching this right now, you need to check out this video that they made about it. It's called Phoenix Lights. I believe it's on. You can get this for free. You can see it for free. I want to say it's even on YouTube somewhere for free. It's a pretty old movie, but you said you were there in spring 1997, and what is this? Yeah, March 13, 1997. Visiting my sister in Phoenix, I saw something. Hundreds of people saw this, by the way, because it flew over several counties, and it was a national incident. That's how big this thing was. And he says a few have seen it in my area. A small silver ship, maybe 3 to 4 feet wide, over Walmart parking lot in my area during, I believe, Thanksgiving, when the lot was empty. I didn't move for 5 hours. Oh, it didn't move for 5 hours. What the heck? Hovering in the same spot still. Explain the horn sound being heard globally. The same sound came from my area a few years ago as well. You heard of Heaven's Horn? No. I think that might be have something to do with UFOs as well. I have seen the cigar-shaped ships, the ones with the red lights, the red, green, yellow light, and both ships face to face in exchanging colors from the ships. Wow, what the hell? What the hell? What do we make of this? Let's figure this out, Andy. What is going on? Let's figure this out. What if our galaxy is actually teeming, our reality, not just our galaxy, is teeming with all kinds of species, all kinds of intelligent, space-faring species. And they're here for different reasons. Some of them are here to study humans. Some of them are just here visiting. Some of them are doing different kinds of research. And maybe they have an order not to hurt us because we're just like indigenous, evolving primates that have a long way to go. And maybe they see a little of themselves in us, and they're trying to just like, they have a hands-off treaty where they don't decimate us or eat us or dissect us and throw us in a field or something like that. Maybe they have all these rules and we're like not livestock, but we'd probably be more like a safari. And then some of them have even taken time to actually communicate with us one-on-one because they think that may have some value to us as beyond just being cattle. Bruce, you still have access to Yuri's FB. Well, I actually am the person controlling the Yuribruce accounts, so Yuri really doesn't do any of that stuff. So yeah, if you contact me on Instagram, Yuribruce Team, and then on Facebook, Yuribruce Team, that's me. So yeah, go ahead and hit me up. If you happen to be out there, let's talk, man. Let's talk. I have a lot of questions. I'm very interested in this. I wanna know more about it. We can figure this out. Me and Ancient Aliens Andy about to crack this mystery before the government reveals all the information. And then even when they do, we'll have it all mapped out. We already know what's going on. We've already cracked part of it. We already know that. Or her Instagram. Oh yeah. So I'm on Facebook and Instagram. So we already know. We've already figured out that this is a wildlife preserve. Earth is a wildlife preserve for humans. We're wild creatures who are just emerging in intelligence and awareness, and they are observing us and have a treaty with several other civilizations to not harm, but they can look at us from afar and observe, but they can't interact. So there's several different kinds of species. So that's our first theory, right, Andy? So if you think that's a good theory, give it a thumbs up. And they've actually been studying us for thousands of years. Because for them, time is totally different. For us, thousands of years is a long time. For them, it's really relative. It's not. It's a blink of an eye for them. All right, that's it, guys. If you want to talk more about this, hit me up on Facebook. Hit me up on Instagram. Hit me up on comments below. I'm out there. I'm always on my phone, some way, shape, or form. And we could talk about this. And that's it for this one. I'm out of here. I will leave this chat up so you guys can speak amongst one another. See you guys later.